So the Cowboys win 20-17. They hold off the Chargers with the Stephon Gilmore interception that we saw. Cowboys defense leads the NFL with 89 quarterback pressures. And, we didn't see Michael Parsons take the game over all night long, but there were moments where, oh, my God, like shot out of a cannon. There was one sack near the end where he you blink your eyes, and he was there on top of Justin Herbert. Cowboys are now 10-1 after a loss. There it is. Just boom. That was right before or close to the I think right before the interception, right?
Yep.
There's the interception.
It was play before.
Yeah, it was the play right before. So Cowboys 10-1 after a loss over the past 3 seasons. They know how to turn it around, and they did. And for a while it felt like, hey, maybe the Chargers can pull this one off. It would have been huge for the Chargers to beat the Cowboys on a night like that when they're the home team, but they're not really the home team, and they're coming off. Were they coming off of their bye? Were they coming off of their bye? Yes, they were coming off of their bye. I'm thinking, yes, they're coming off of their bye, but then the Justin Herbert finger was still so messed up, and he called it but a flesh wound. 'Tis but a scratch. Right after it happened, you could tell that finger. Yes, Monty Python. Okay. You could tell that finger is messed up. I mean, you could just tell by looking at the glove. Something's going on with that finger, and he fell one time. He fell one time and specifically twisted his hand to keep it from hitting the ground. Like that thing's messed up.
He barely took any snaps from under center. I mean, I don't know how much you guys noticed, but it was a lot of pistol when they probably would have preferred maybe, or in their usual, I don't know, cadence or whatever, if you want to call it that, to have your quarterback under center, but he's not really taking many under center snaps. There were only a handful of snaps that he took under center, including that 4th and inches play that ended up being incomplete to Joshua Palmer. But other than that, it was either shotgun or it was pistol for Justin Herbert. And I think that had a lot to do with him and that middle finger on his non-throwing hand just not exactly being correct.
Well, and they had what another 4th down, every game, a 4th down that they go for and they don't get it. They had the 4th and short inside the 10, and you can't run it there when your quarterback's got a completely jacked up middle finger on his non-throwing hand. If he's not, number one, he's not going to run it. Number two, he's not going to hand it off if he's not taking the snaps under center. So we knew what was going to happen. They didn't even bother. Why even bother with the play fake? And it's a great defense. Maybe should have gotten rid of it a little faster. I don't know. I like Justin Herbert, but I keep waiting for him to do what he did that night against the Raiders in the final game of the regular season. Remember that performance that night? Tremendous. I keep waiting for that guy to show up on a more regular basis. And he's an incredible player, and he's got the big contract, and they have faith in him, and he's the guy they're trying to build around. But I keep waiting for that guy to come back. And I don't know. Maybe he's been back since, and I missed it. But I keep waiting for that, and I feel like I'm waiting for that guy that's going to take over a game, that's going to make things happen, not throw an interception with game on the line and you're trying to drive down to get a either game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown. I feel like we're waiting a lot. And at what point do you just leave? Like you're waiting for the professor to come for class. Like at what point do you just leave? I feel like we're waiting for the professor to show up for class with Justin Herbert. Am I wrong?
Well, I would
look at
point
that
to
one.
last
Am
year.
I wrong?
I know that last night he was not good enough. I mean, he has to be better. And there's some Chargers writers saying that he just didn't look himself. And I don't know if that is the case or is not the case. But when you're Justin Herbert and you're getting paid to be the kind of quarterback that he is getting paid to be, then yes, you expect to see him go down the field and score when he has the opportunity to win the games. He's not really done that this year, right? But there have been more instances in the past where he has done it and performed the way that he did in that final game of the regular season, like he did against the Raiders when that game should have been a tie. And both the Raiders and the Chargers should have made the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I would point to the Titans game last year where he has to roll to his right, make a big 3rd down throw. I think it was to either Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but that he hits it right down the right sideline. It was one of those beautiful throws and one of those plays that you say, all right, that's the quarterback we want to build around. Last night certainly was not that. Certainly was not there. I think the Cowboys' pressure had a lot to do with it. getting that second down sack from Micah Parsons obviously influenced and affected that third down play, because you can't really take a sack there if you're Herbert, because you don't want more and more time to run off the clock. But at the same time, you don't want to just throw the ball up into coverage, because that's how Stephon Gilmore intercepts it, and that also wins the game. So yeah, it was a weird game from that standpoint, that Justin Herbert was just not looking like an elite quarterback, and there were some obvious throws that he had to make.
And he did look very good against the Vikings. They do have 2 wins this year. It feels like they should be farther along in his career progression. They could be would be winning more games than they're losing. 2-3 is not good enough. And we're getting closer and closer to the point of the schedule where the Vultures are going to start circling L.A. in the form of the coaches who are going to want to be making their pitch to Dean Spanos to take over that team, because, and who knows what the Chargers are going to do. I thought maybe they would make a change last year. They didn't. This may be the year that it happens, because you need an offensive guru to get the most out of Justin Herbert. I was reminded, as you were explaining earlier, a great throw that he had made, something Peter always says about Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh's view was, if a guy can do it once, he can coach him to do it all the time.
Yes.
And so there's something missing there as it relates to harnessing the best of the best that Justin Herbert can do. And I'm not blaming him. There has to be better coaching, and you have to put him in a better position, and you have to teach him better on how to take full advantage of his incredible size, speed, agility, arm strength, accuracy, everything. And I will say this. Even if it's your non-throwing hand, if one of your fingers is broken and it's painful and you're conscious of it and you're trying desperately not to get it hit and make it worse, that's going to be a factor in everything you do. Beyond just, I'm not taking snaps under center, it's everywhere you go. On top of trying to process, you're also trying to keep that hand, short of putting it behind your back, you're trying to keep that hand from getting hit. And you're trying not to make it a target by being overly obvious in your efforts to protect your hand. So, it doesn't take much to throw someone off balance when they're trying to do all those different things. The writers last night were distracted by the radio call. A quarterback lives in a blender of distractions that he's trying to process while he's doing that job. You throw on top of it, one of the fingers on my non-throwing hand is broken and bothering me, and I'm trying to keep it from getting worse. That's enough to throw everything off, Myles.
It is, but at the same time, Mike, when the quarterback is out there, the quarterback's got to make the plays, and he's being paid to make the plays, right? And I think in last night specifically, I don't necessarily want to go like too big picture on it, but last night specifically, there were plays that Justin Herbert should have made, right? There were 2 open throws to Keenan Allen, one of them we just showed, that he should have made. I mean, when Keenan Allen's running down the sideline by himself and your quarterback airmails it, man, that's a huge miss. And that's one that we have seen Justin Herbert consistently make. It's just, for whatever reason, last night, that play didn't work. And here we show it again. I mean, look, he pump fakes it, and the defender's out of his shoes, and it's just out of the reach of Keenan Allen. And I don't know exactly why that was. The protection actually was all right on that. I don't know if it just was that Herbert's feet weren't where they needed to be because of the constant pressure that he was facing. But at a certain point, you have to have the play from your quarterback that you are paying him to make, right? It's not just, oh, this guy's a rookie anymore, he's a young guy, Like, we have seen Justin Herbert make these plays consistently before. For whatever reason, last night he didn't do it. And that, I think, at least as it pertains to last night, is a good criticism, because that's something that you pay him to do, so you expect him to do it.
It's prime time. Everyone's watching. That's the moment that your highly paid franchise quarterback needs to step up and make those plays. And the miss to Keenan Allen, when he didn't have a whole lot of pressure, he had a chance to drive the ball, he just put too much on it. He just put too much on it. And when you're talking about, they talk about the windows and how tight they are in the NFL, the window was wide open there. to Keenan
Yes.
Allen. He didn't have to thread a needle. All he had to do was hit the guy who was running open, and that would have been a play that may have, when you string everything else together after that, changed the outcome of the game. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.